Brazil facts. Brazil has stunning beaches, the broadest savannas, tall mountains, and mouth-watering cuisine, among other things. It has a lot to offer, including enjoyable festivals, stunning rainforests, and an all-around lively culture. The largest carnival in the world, the Rio Carnival, ought to be on your travel bucket list if you enjoy it. Every year, about 2 million people throng Rio de Janeiro's streets. In the days before Lent, they do this. They enjoy music, dance in the streets, dress up, and watch the parades in awe. Furthermore, we bet that if you love food, you can't wait to visit Brazil so you can dine at churrascarias. In these establishments, waiters parade skewers of barbecue. In these eateries, waiters make their way around the tables, showcasing the juicy meat to the hungry customers. Customers select their preferred cut of beef, which is then cut off the skewers and placed on the plates. All of this started in the early 1800s. Large portions of meat were skewered and slowly grilled by a group of gauchos, or European immigrants who settled in Brazil. Last but not least, if you're a sports fan, you probably have a favorite Brazilian soccer player. Brazilians love to play football, which they refer to as soccer, and their nation has given the world some of the most well-known athletes. Brazil is the country with the most FIFA World Cup victories, with 5. What a cool and concise summary of facts about Brazil. Come explore Brazil with us if you enjoyed what we just did. Browse through our interesting and entertaining collection of Brazil facts to discover the beauty of this nation. Brazil's highest mountain is Pico de Neblina. On the border between Brazil and Venezuela, the mountain is located in Serra de Neblina, a section of Serra do Emery, and the Guiana Highlands. Its elevation is 2,995 meters, 9,827 feet, above sea level. Its top is located within Brazilian borders, just 687 meters, 2,254 feet, horizontally from Pico 31 de Marco, Venezuela's border, according to a 1962 border research exploration. Brazil is home to more than 210 million people. In Brazil, there have been notable levels of racial and ethnic convergence, cultural fusion, and synthesis of various schools of thought. Brazil has conducted annual population counts since 1872. Since 1960, scanned versions of the census have been made available. Before European colonization, Brazil was home to semi-nomadic tribes. This was before the 16th century, when European settlers began to arrive. Portuguese immigrants were the first to arrive of all the European settlers. They guarded the area against additional foreign incursions under Pedro Lázaro Cabral's direction up until the end of colonial rule in the early 18th century. Brazil gradually established itself as a valuable strategic and economic stronghold, beginning with the boom of the sugarcane industry in the 16th century, which served as the foundation of the Brazilian economy. As vast plantations expanded in size, African slaves were brought to the area, giving rise to the significant African presence in modern Brazilian culture. Before 1889, when Brazil was formally proclaimed a republic, it was ruled by a number of Brazilian emperors. Brazil's president since January 2019 is Jair Bolsonaro. Brazil's capital is Brazilia. For many years, Rio de Janeiro served as its capital. There were traffic jams and distant government buildings. The government then decided to find a new city that would serve as the nation's capital. For years after the work of engineers, architects, and urban planners, Brazilia was founded on April 21, 1960. Brazilians are referred to as Brazilians in Brazil. A Brazilian can also be born abroad to a parent or legal guardian who is both Brazilian and has acquired nationality. For instance, Brazil is a multi-ethnic country, indicating that its citizens come from various ethnic backgrounds. Brazilians are referred to as Latinos and Latinas in the United States. The largest nation in South America is Brazil. Brazil's geography is vast and varied, with many rivers, different levels of humidity, mountainous peaks, and plateaus. Brazil is primarily a tropical nation famous for its enormous Amazon lowlands, but the highlands make up most of the nation. The Central West Pantanal, Lower Amazon regions, Guiana Highlands, Coastal Lowlands, and Brazilian Highlands are the country's 5 main geographic divisions. The barbecue king is Brazil. The largest populations of barbecue enthusiasts in South America seem to reside in Argentina and Brazil. The ogre-sized meat, which is best enjoyed quietly and with an elastic waistband, from varieties to side dishes, remains the same even though each country treats meat differently. Maquica is a well-known seafood dish from Brazil. Maquica is a fish stew served with clouds of fragrant steam rising from the clay pot, which is unveiled at the table. Both Capixabas and Baianos, who hail from the neighboring states of Espírito Santo and Bahia, respectively, claim to be the dish's creators and offer equally delectable variations. Love chocolate? The Brigadeiro is for you. Brigadeiros have practically become a standard at children's parties all over the world as a result of the overwhelming positive response to this delectable traditional Brazilian dessert. Condensed milk and cocoa powder are used to make it. Butter is also added. After the mixture is formed into balls, chocolate sprinkles are added. They are guaranteed to provide a quick sugar rush. The world's largest producer of coffee is Brazil. Brazil produces about a third of the world's coffee, and the industry is very important to the national economy. Following the introduction of the first coffee plant to Brazil by French immigrants in the 18th century, Brazil has grown to become the world's largest producer of coffee since that time. Brazil has about 300,000 coffee plantations spread out across its surface. Brazil produced more than 44 million bags of coffee in just 1 year. Brazil is well known for its FIFA World Cup performances. Brazil was the FIFA World Cup champion 5 times, in 1958, 1962, 1970, 1994, and 2002. They currently hold the record for having the most World Cup champions. One of Brazil's all-time greatest football players is Pelé. Pelé, also known as Edson Arantes do Nascimento, was a forward for the Brazilian national team. He was dubbed the greatest by FIFA. He is one of the world's highest-paid athletes. Athlete of the Year by the International Olympic Committee, FIFA Player of the Century, and World Player of the Century by the International Federation of Football History and Statistics, IFFHS, are a few of the honors he has received. In the Tijuca Forest National Park, there is Christ the Redeemer. In Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, there is a statue of Christ called Christ the Redeemer, or Cristo Redentor. The sculpture was made by Paul Landowski, and it was constructed by Heitor de Silva Costa, Albert Cacaut, and Jorge Leonida. The statue's construction was completed in 1931. Christ the Redeemer weighs 635 tons and stands 98 feet tall. The width of the arms is about 28 meters. The statue is located on Corcovado Mountain's peak. Escalators and elevators have been installed, among other changes, to make it a popular tourist destination. To get to the top, tourists must ascend 200 steps. Christianity is represented by the statue. The background to the design of the Brazilian flag. The Brazilian flag is a vibrant green with a yellow diamond and a blue globe in the center. The blue globe has 27 stars and a white flag with the phrase Ordem e Progresso e center. The blue globe has 27 stars and a white flag with the phrase Ordem e Progresso, order and progress, on it. The stars play a significant role in the symbolism of the flag. They represent Southern Hemisphere constellations as seen from Rio de Janeiro on November 15, 1889, the day the country changed from an empire to a republic. The overall layout was made by Decio Villers, Miguel Lemos, Manuel Pereira Reis, and Raimundo Teixeira Mendes. Brazil's Carnival is an annual festival. Every year, Brazilians celebrate the Carnival. Brazilians celebrate Carnival just before Lent begins. The most well-known holiday in Brazil is Carnival. Fun festivities with food and music are being held. On the streets, people sing and dance during the 6-day celebration. Europe provided the original carnival attire. Large parades are organized by samba schools in Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, and Vitória. The official musical genre of the Brazilian carnival is samba. The most well-known musical style in Brazil is called samba, and it has its roots in Rio de Janeiro. Drums are used to create a warm atmosphere and a joyful mood. The first samba school, Estácio de Sá, was founded by Ismael Silva and other musicians. Brazil has one of the largest economies in the world, though it is still growing. Brazil's economy ranks as the 12th largest in the world in terms of GDP. One of the major nations producing sugarcane, coffee, oranges, guarana, açaí, and Brazil nuts is Brazil. With about 6.6 million tourists, Brazil ranked 48th out of 176 countries in terms of international travel. Brazil's economy also includes manufacturing and agriculture. That's for now. We appreciate you for being here. View more our channel videos.